Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, we're going to take a look at Elastic Transcoder, I believe it's called, Transcoder. And so this is a older service. In fact, generally they recommend, at least they have recommended to utilize the newer service, which is Media Convert. But for whatever reason, it still shows up here. This is like all the services you need to learn. For whatever reason, they still show it. If I go here, yeah, that it's in the Solution Architect Associate. So I don't know if you need this or not, but I'm going to show you both as they basically do the same thing. You can see that I actually used to use Elastic Transcoder, and this is a very long time ago. It's like when we started building Exam Pro, because we thought that we could serve all of our videos, and from AWS, we were really bought into that idea of doing everything on AWS, but it turns out it's very expensive, and so now we don't do that. But I do kind of remember how to utilize this, so we can go ahead and learn how to do that. So the idea is that we need to create a pipeline and a few other things. Just because the UI is really old here, I figured what we could do is go ahead and use CloudFormation for this. So I'm going to go over to AWS Examples. I'm going to open this up, and we're going to go over to CloudFormation and just type in Elastic Transcoder. And then maybe here what we can do is find some stuff here. And somebody has a CloudFormation template here, which is great, but I want to just go and get this from CloudFormation. I'm not sure why I'm having such a hard time finding this here. What the heck? Where is it? So does AWS CloudFormation allow creating templated for Elastic Transcoder? Not yet, and this is 2016. Okay, maybe we can't use CloudFormation for this? I thought we could. I'll go here and I'll just take a look here. So Transcoder. Wow, this service is so old. It doesn't even show you how to use it with Transcoder anymore. Or sorry, with CloudFormation. Okay, that's fine. We'll go and say Transcoder, Elastic, AWS CLI. I'm assuming the CLI exists. Yes, it does. And so this is just another way that we can utilize it. So I'm going to go here and go to version 2. And we will go ahead and do this way. So I say mkdir, Elastic Transcoder. And, I think the reason why it sticks around is because there's just companies that just don't want to move to Media Convert at this point, and I don't see them ever moving. So this is probably the reason why the service is still around. There is no cost benefits, at least the last time I checked, there's no cost benefits to staying with Elastic Transcoder. It's just people have their workflows and they do not want to change. But we'll go here and we'll take a look and see what we need to do. So probably the first thing we'll need to do is create a pipeline. That seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to go down to examples. And here we have a very complex example. Let's just say create pipeline. And we'll go ahead and paste this in here. We'll say allow. And we'll bring this back. And we'll go down below here. And so we need an input bucket. A name for our pipeline, so just call it my Transcoder pipeline. We're going to need, the S3 bucket. We'll need a role. I don't know if we need notifications. I don't really care about that. Let's take a look at notifications here. If you want to notify them, no, I do not care about that. We'll take that out. We have our content config. So optional content config specifies information about the Amazon S3 bucket in which you want to transcode to save transcoded files and playlists. Okay. I don't think I care about that, so we'll take that out. And then we have thumbnail config. Specifies several values, including the S3 bucket in which you want to transcode to save thumbnails, which users want to have access to the files. It doesn't say that's optional, so I think we're going to have that. I'm going to go all the way back to the top here. We'll go to examples. And so here's our content config. I guess we could just keep both if we wanted to, but I don't think I really need that. Bucket and bucket, they look pretty much the same. So, I don't know if I really need this, but I'm going to go ahead and just say config. And what we'll do is we'll just use the same config for both of them because they're basically identical. Nearly. Oh, no, they're separate buckets. Okay, so I don't really think we need them, but I'm going to go ahead and add them anyway. So I'm just going to go and create these here. So I'll just say content config JSON. Cut, paste, standard, full control, sure, whatever. Grantee. I just don't feel like we need to do this because why would we need to specify permissions? Maybe permissions is optional here. We'll just look that up. Permissions. A list of users or predefined S3 groups you want to have access to the transcoded files and playlists. Maybe we can just leave that empty. Like this. And then that will resolve our issue here. So that will be one. And then the other one, we called it thumbnail config. So we'll say thumbnail config. And it's going to be identical here. I'm going to need to make a couple buckets. I'm going to go up here. So create content buckets. You know, I'm just not convinced that we need these configs because I'm thinking about when I made this here. And I'm just going to kind of look into these at all. Oh, you know what? The bucket is the same. So notice it says bucket for thumbnails, bucket for transcoded files. If that's the case, that's fine. We can just make one. And I actually like the idea of having it as a domain like this, where you have videos or assets or something like that. So I'm going to say videos.example. Like some number on in here in .com. Of course, it's not a real domain, but I'm just putting something in here. And we'll just say AWS S3 make bucket. And so I'll go down below here. I'm not sure why it's not copying, so I need to refresh. I'm having an issue with my Git pod. Just give me a moment here. There we go. So I'll go ahead and just copy this again. Copy. Oh, before I do this, I'm going to just make sure the region is US East 1 because I think I saw that we could only do this in US East 1. At least that's what I thought I saw. And we'll go ahead and create that bucket. And it doesn't like something. Oh, yeah, it has to be URI. Sorry. S3://. And we'll copy this. We'll paste it down below. There we go. And I'm going to go and grab this name here. And we will replace that here. And we'll replace that here. Okay, so they're both in here now. Excellent. I'm curious if that default role exists. Let's go take a look and see if it does. So I'm going to go over to IAM. We'll go over to roles. And I'm going to search for this. So I have this. I don't know if everybody has this role. If you don't, for whatever reason, then you might have to go look up how to create it. Apparently it only has this for access, but hopefully everybody has it. I'm grabbing that ARN, and I'm going to replace my ARN here for the default role. There we go. And so that should create our pipeline, in theory. We'll go ahead and paste that in, see if it works. I think CA Central 1, that is totally fine. We'll go region US East 1. Okay, because it doesn't work in other regions. Or, I mean, it does, but maybe in particular ones. Cross-account role use is not permitted. So it's suggesting that... Oh, you know what? Right now I'm in my wrong account. I'm going to log into my developer's account. Sorry. All right, so I'm back here. And now that I'm back here, we need to go over to... Actually, I don't think we need to do anything. I just need to grab my account ID. And I'm just going to replace that here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I'll paste this in again. And now it says, grantee is not allowed to be null. Grantee is not allowed to be null. Okay, so it really wants us to have a grantee in here. A list of users or predefined Amazon S3 groups that you want to have access. So Canonical, either enter the Canonical user ID of an AWS account. An email, a group. Or other stuff. For the time being, I'm just going to set the group to all users. So we'll go ahead and do this. And then we'll say all users. And hopefully that will resolve our issue here. There we go. We'll go ahead and hit up and try this again. Try this again. Group must be one of the grantee types. So clearly I don't know what that looks like. So I'm going to go down grantee type. What this looks like here. So I'll just copy this and make a new tab here. And then we'll go all the way down to the bottom to our example. So I'm getting the structure wrong, obviously. And it looks more like that grantee type. Okay, so the grantee type is group. Okay. And then if we go back here, and then we probably, I guess the next one would be grantee. So grantee is probably going to be group here. Grantee, all users. And then we'd have access, full access. I think that's what it was. Access, full control. Hold on here. Grantee can read objects and metadata from Elastic. Yeah, I'm just going to do full control. You know, we're not going to keep this around for long, so if it is a security issue, I don't think we'll be too worried about it. But I think this is about like in which, so information about S3 bucket in which you want Transcoder to save the files. Access to the transcoded files. Okay. Let me just double check here. Enter either the user ID or AWS account. I mean, just to make this a little bit safer, I'm going to actually go with the canonical here. Because it's so easy just to enter in our account ID here, because we're the only one that wants to access this anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And then we'll do this. And then we don't really have a concern for security, okay? So go ahead and copy this. And I'll go over to here, and I'll replace this. And hopefully it's going to like this instead. So we'll go ahead and try that. List. So it's expecting a list or a tuple. So I'm guessing maybe I need to wrap this in a, like this here. Again, I'm just guessing here without having to look it up. 2 validation errors detected. Member must satisfy constraints, regular expression. Holy smokes, why is this such a pain? Let's go back and take a look at this again. So here we have access, and it's in square braces. So we definitely did that. I'll go back to this. Yep. Let me just carefully read this. All right, so here it's suggesting that the format is like this, full control. But you can, oh, it is, okay. All right, I guess I must have just messed that up. Thought it was in caps. Usually that's what it is, that's the format. Okay, we'll try this again. And it says the specified bucket could not be found. Did we not save these files? It looks like we changed it out to these ones. Oh, it's this bucket here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab this bucket again. And basically everything goes in the same bucket. There we go. And we'll try this again. Did it not copy this? You know what? Maybe we should make a source bucket just in case. I'll just say source here. And we'll try this again. There we go. We'll just say source videos example. And then we will make sure we copy this. Right click, copy, right click, paste. Make sure that new bucket name is in there. Hit enter. And so we finally created our pipeline. We'll go back over to the management console. Back into Elastic Transcoder. And so we now have our pipeline. Okay, so that's step one. The next thing will be job. So we want to run a job. I'll go back over to here. We'll click back. And we'll go into Elastic Transcoder. And we want to create a job. We'll go down to examples and copy this over. And we'll just say create job. And we'll paste this in here. So I guess when we automated this back in the day, we must have used the AWS CLI to do it, or maybe the SDK, because apparently you can't use it with CloudFormation. So the pipeline has some kind of outputted value here. I still have it right here, which is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, copy this, and then paste this in. Looks correct to me. Good. We'll just say videos as our prefix. And then we need our inputs and our outputs. So I guess I'll make a new file here. This will be called inputs.json. And then we'll make a outputs.json. And then it wants a user metadata. User metadata JSON. There we go. And so we have our 3 files. Let's take a look at what those files are supposed to look like. Hopefully they show us those examples. So here's our inputs. Here is our outputs. Here is our metadata. All right, so let's first take a look at our inputs. So here it's suggesting the name of the file. And then everything's set to auto. So we're going to need some kind of file. So I'm going to go over to YouTube and I'm going to go find a video. Just give me 2 seconds. Actually, I decided just to type in like test video. And so here at fileexamples.com, maybe we can just grab one from here that's small. And so here they actually have some. I'm just going to grab this link in case you want to utilize it. Hopefully this isn't a scammy or scummy site. You can grab whatever you want, but I'm going to grab this one. Yeah, see, we're already getting ads. And I have to click back into it. And so we have one here that is, I want to have something that is 1920 by 1080, so I'm going to grab this one here. And hopefully it's going to download. It seems to be struggling. I'll go maybe get a different one. You know what? I'll just go to my website and download one. All right, so I have tons and tons of videos, and here I have an MP4 that's 3 megabytes. So what I'm going to do is going to go here and just upload it into here. So I'm just dragging it into here, bringing it over here so that you have access to it. And I feel like 3 megabytes isn't that big, so it's not that big of a deal. And so now we have a test video. There it is, app to container. And now you can utilize that as well. So upload test video, say upload test video. And so I'm going to go here and grab this and just say copy. And this will be app to container MP4. And this will just be A to C MP4, which is the service in question. Does this expect this to be in a particular subfolder before we do that? So I'm going to look at our inputs first. Doesn't necessarily have to be, so that seems fine. So I'm going to go ahead and then run this command. So Q here, run this. And so now this is upload to our source. Source bucket. So I'm just going to change this out to A2C, MP4, and we're going to leave all those alone. We'll go to our outputs. And here, this will be A24. Is that what it's called? A24? Or A2C, sorry, A2C. AC2? App to container. It's app. Wow, I'm getting this super wrong here. It should be app to container. I'm just going to call it video, okay? It's going to be called video. We'll make our lives way easier this way, and then I'll have less of a headache. So I'll just say video, MP4, and then over here, I'll just change this to video. Okay. Now look at our input. So this will just be called video. And so all this is doing is converting it over to WebM, and it's using a specific preset. So what we'll do is go over to here to presets, and we'll just see if they have that. So we'll say WebM. And I just want to make sure that the preset is the same. It might vary based on region, so that's what I'm concerned about. This one is 100, 250, 100, 250, 1351.6, 1351.6, 00001. So this one is still valid. It's actually utilizing this one right here. So it's doing 720 WebN VP9, whatever that is. So that is totally fine. We're not asking it to rotate it, so that seems pretty good. And so that seems like it's okay. But then over here, we have the output key prefix as videos. So it's going to be videos and then WebM as the output. So I guess we'll see what that is like. We'll go over to here. We'll just say, this is just metadata, I guess it's attaching to it. We don't really have to do metadata, but I'm just going to go ahead here and just say author, Andrew Brown, topic, application to containers, category, AWS. It's metadata. You can put whatever you want here, right? So we'll go ahead and do this, and let's see if we can run this now. So go ahead and copy this. I'll type in clear. We'll go ahead and paste this in. We'll hit enter. And it's saying cannot connect to this endpoint. We need to say region US East 1. And we'll copy this and we'll paste it in. We'll hit enter. And so this job should be running now. So I'm going to go over here and take a look at my jobs. Wow, this is a very old interface. So I just searched this in descending and we have an error. So something's gone wrong. I would like to know what has gone wrong. So we'll go all the way back to the top here. Okay, and we'll go to Elastic Transcoder. And maybe we can read the job here. Returns details about the job. We'll go down below. We'll copy this here. Job details. And we'll hit paste. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And we'll go ahead and paste that in. And I'll hit enter. Again, need to choose the particular region. So say US East 1. And we'll go ahead and try this again. And maybe it will tell us what's wrong. Either does not exist or has not granted Elastic Transcoder assume role permissions. So that is an issue with the actual role here. So I'm wondering if this role is incorrect, but I should have it. I'm going to go over to IAM. Maybe it didn't create it in this account. Maybe that's my problem. So we go over to IAM, and then we'll go to roles. And I'm looking for Elastic Transcoder, so I'm going to see if that exists. It does not. Okay, so the reason it exists in my other account is because I've ran it before, and this one I've never done it. So we'll go to AWS Services. We'll look for Elastic Transcoder. And I'm thinking it will just go ahead and create that for us. There we go. I'll hit next. And I want to be very particular. I want to name this Elastic Transcoder default to save myself some trouble here. We'll paste that in. And we'll go create this role. And now we'll take a look at this role. And I mean, it must have the correct permissions. It looks a little bit different, but list bucket, get bucket. I mean, that's all it really needs to do is to work with buckets and then do SNS publish. So that makes sense to me there. So what I'm going to do is try to run this job again. Okay, and we do get back the job ID. It'd be really nice to query this and get back what we want. So we want job.id next time. Okay. And I'm going to grab this here, if I can. Copy that. And we'll paste this. And we'll copy this. I'll just quit here. And I'm going to paste this, hit enter. And we'll see if this is actually running or if it failed. So it looks like it's actually running here. I'm going to go back to the UI. And we'll take a look here and see what happens. Elastic Transcoder. And we'll go to jobs. We'll search our jobs. We'll search based on pipeline. Okay, we'll say search. And it says it's complete. Excellent. So now we'll go over to our S3 bucket. And we have in here our videos example. We'll go into videos, WebM, and there we go. So it's exported out. Does it work? I don't care. All I know is we ran the pipeline, and so we understand how this works. Let's go ahead and do some cleanup now. So I want to get rid of those 2 buckets. So we'll go ahead and do that. So let's go and clean up now. All the way back here, I'm going to go ahead and delete this bucket. Well, I got to empty it first. Empty. And that was the source one. We'll go back to buckets here. I'm going to empty this one next. And we'll empty it. We'll go to buckets. I'll delete this one. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And so I've deleted those 2 there. So they are gone. Then I'm going to want to go ahead and delete that pipeline. So we'll go over to Elastic Transcoder. And remove our pipeline. We'll say yes. That pipeline is gone. And we're all done here. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.